All right, good morning. This is Premarket Wake Up. My name's Frank. My community is called No More Paper Trading. Link to the Discord is in the description. Seems lately, I've got a couple people over there now. I don't know if they're real or not. I get a lot of salespeople trying to get me to pay them money so they can promote the Discord. And since I'm never going to make money off of it, directly anyway, my only hope with it is to become more professional in my understanding and learn more about trading. So in that way, I'll make money, but I won't make money directly on the Discord, and I don't care about any of that. So why would I pay someone to do all that? And for real, if it doesn't grow in the next 6 months, I don't care. I'm getting enough out of it already. And since nobody watches, I'm going to start going off the cuff. Just say whatever I want. I have intentions of expanding quite a bit on promotion in some way, or putting out other videos as topics come to me. But I have so much else to do with developing strategies and building indicators and just trading that might not happen real quick. All right, about 15 minutes ago, 17 minutes ago, ADP employment figures were out. Came in 80,000 below expectations. It seems like a lot of employment numbers are dropping pretty good. I believe the market would see that as a good indication that there'll be more cuts for sure. We'll see. Later on, we have some other stuff. I'll get to that later, but first I want to go over the overnight moves in futures. ES trending down. Stopped for a second at yesterday's opening range high. Again, I set my opening range to 10 a.m. Barely halted at opening range low, broke through yesterday's low before coming on back, and is now lingering around yesterday's 9:30 open and the opening range high. NASDAQ very similar. Almost identical, except remaining below the yesterday's open for most of the night. Russell, more of a pronounced V in the Russell for sure, but lower overall, going by the relative levels. If you keep track of key levels, the month change would change some of these levels, such as previous month's high, previous month's low, and previous month's close. The Dow, which closed at an all-time high yesterday, also trending lower. halted for a little bit at yesterday's opening range low, and is now nipping at that again. Gold. Gold is back to trending higher again. Broke through yesterday's high and is now back to it. We'll see what happens. Relative strength does not look strong. We'll see. Oil. Oil is down. For most of the night, tried to remain above previous month's close, which would be yesterday's close. See on the daily, it's a pretty important area all around. This orange line right here. Price came back, bounced off it to head a little bit lower. I think the government shutdown is influencing that quite a bit. What the heck's this? All right, VIX. VIX gapped up quite a bit. It is now trending lower along this trend lines that I drew last week. And you see this channel. You can probably pick out quite a few different trend lines in this chart. I wouldn't call this head and shoulders. Yeah, not really. And are those types of patterns relevant in the VIX? I don't know. I mostly look at overnight performance and direction. Sometimes you can see divergences, and it can help you on trades. If the VIX is heading up and price is heading up, the S&P or the NASDAQ or any of the indices, price is heading up towards a key level, and VIX isn't letting off, there's a good chance it's going to reject that level. I'd like to get into the weeds a bit more on how exactly VIX works. I say that almost every day, and there's just too many things to learn. Dollar is all over the place, but slightly down. Dipped quite a bit on that news at 8:15. The lower employment figures. That's about it for the overnight. Let's take a look at news for today. What do we got coming up? Again, I'm unsure with the government closure. We won't get any government. We won't get any government news. I don't know how to stop. There's something about streaming that makes me start yawning. I got plenty of sleep. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Yesterday I got the hiccups pretty bad. Anyway, I don't even know if there'll be Fed speeches today because aren't they paid by the government? Or do they not care and just keep working anyway? But I believe the PMI coming out later, that's from a non-government institution. So that should still release at 10 a.m. tomorrow, continuing jobless claims. Yeah, that's Department of Labor, so that probably won't come out. Challenger job cuts would probably come out. I don't think that's government. Factory orders, that won't come out. Factory orders will not come out. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they don't get reported if the government shuts down. Which, big deal. And then Fridays, it looks like nothing. Let's check the FedWatch tool. See if anything changed. Whoa. %99 chance now. That's a heck of a switch from yesterday. I don't recall yesterday being 96. I thought it was like 94, 92. There's even a small probability now of half a basis point. I think they'll just do a quarter. See what December is. It's now 89% chance of another quarter point in December. Which was just yesterday, 77. That's a heck of a gain. You might see a rip today. I don't know. But can the rate cuts save this kind of dead market? I haven't really been looking at earnings, but I don't know. You're starting to see whispers of the AI bubble bursting. You always had that to a certain extent, but I'd bet it's more now. My dream is to build software that, I'm sure it's already out there, but I just don't want to pay for it, that aggregates news headlines. And you can actually see a trend in the AI bubble burst. I bet you can Google Trends. What phrase would I use to search for Google Trends? AI bubble? I think I will. I think I'm going to try that right now. It's not Google Scholar, is it? No, I think it's case law and articles. I thought I had a bookmark. I guess I don't. AI bubble. Well, how do I look back? Okay, here we go. August 17th, it was up quite a bit. So it is trending up. AI bubble. For some reason in Washington and New York, the most, and DC. I think the Sam Altman guy, he pretty much said, I can't quote him exactly, but he pretty much said about the, people get a little excited about it, a little overexcited, and expect it to do all these amazing things, and it's kind of like anything. Look at the dot-com bubble. So the value of the internet was real. It was 100% real. People just got way too excited about it. But I'm not sure AI is as important as the internet was. Not even close. People have no interest in it. With the internet, you had tons of interest, and there still was a bubble. I just don't see it. And it's not near as widespread as the internet was. The AI crap is mostly led by the giant companies. The whole reason we had so much success from the internet and the dot-com fiasco, even after the bubble, things recovered and then some. And then you had Amazon rising up from the ranks. Tons of others, eBay, PayPal, all that. They didn't start out as these juggernauts. So right now in the AI scene, what I see is there's not a lot of little players rising up. So we're not going to get the same growth. So we're absolutely in a bubble. Now the question is, how much is it going to burst? Let's see, go back further, past 5 years. Wonder what this big spike was. Should try another term, AI bubble. What if I put... So most people don't search AI with the periods. Let's try just AI. I gotta remember to use this more. It's pretty useful. AI bust. Arkansas, huh? What other term could I use? AI bubble burst. What's a bear market? Let me try that. That's not that high right now. Try rate cut. So people are kind of losing interest in that. I'm sure it'll pick up once we get to October, mid-October. Is that when it is? I don't even know. Rate cut. What other could I use? Bear market. Crash. Market crash. The term isn't really used much anymore. Maybe I'm wrong. The only term that's hype, I don't think that'll bring up much. The only term that's really growing is AI bubble, which we'll see. I think it's already lost its magic. It lost its magic 9 months ago, I'd say, with me. Yeah. All right. Check the headlines quick. Yahoo. Here's what happens next. Like they know. I wonder how much of this is seasonal, the drop in payroll. Is this time of year usually a time for hiring? I don't know. And private payroll, is that mostly business? Or is that retail? Yeah, nothing much going on. Let's keep the government shut down for, well, until they fix themselves. Let's see what the good old Fox propaganda is saying. Irreversible consequences. Republicans hold a high ground. Nothing useful. See what bar chart says. Oh, Electronic Arts is being bought up by a private equity from Saudi Arabia, I think. Maybe they'll fix them. I would have expected them to be worth a little bit more than that. How much did Star Wars sell for? I don't know why I'm thinking 100 billion, but I don't think it was. 4.5 billion. Yeah, so maybe the EA price is accurate. But so they're getting like $200 some per share. $2.10 per share. Let's see what the price is right now. Heck, you could buy it right now and make $8. I wonder if it'll go up to 210 and stick there. It's not a bad deal. I don't think I've played an EA game since I was 12. They all suck. Alright, let me take a look at key areas. I want to get moving on other stuff. I gotta tend to the bees today. For the ES, if we head higher, look out for yesterday's close, for sure. And then beyond that, we have the last month's high at around 67.57. I don't really see any patterns. Actually, I'm going to add that to my evaluation, because I missed a pattern in gold that I would have found that huge spike up since the beginning of August or beginning of September. I forget which one. I missed a perfect triangle, which are, I mean, triangles have worked for 60, 70 years, and they still work. You just, you got to be careful, and it's all about trade management. I mean, maybe I see a trend line right here. I'd say so. We hit it twice. I mean, you could draw so many trend lines that your eyes get crossed. But for today, I'd be looking out for yesterday's close, which is now previous month's close. If we head lower, I mean, there's a possibility we could get to this trend line, which also happens to be near the main pivot point. So if we head lower, look at that for a stopping point. If it doesn't stop earlier at last night's low. But hitting that trend line would also correlate with Friday's low. I don't really see much else. If you see something, let me know. NQ. Very similar. Yesterday's close. at 24,901. And then current month high, and well, not current month high, previous month's high at 25,027 if we head higher. Might slow down a little bit up there at last month's R2 pivot point, which was also Monday's high, but who knows. If we head lower, I think I can draw that same trend line. Maybe not. No. It's difficult right now. Mini triangle here. That's old news. I wouldn't consider that. No, scratch that. Yeah, I don't see any larger trends besides key areas. Huge area of support right here that was formed on the day time frame from last Thursday. So, and look for a stop around the pivot point if we head lower. Let's take a look at the Russell. Ooh, I wanted to look at MACD set up for a cross. So the last, even on Friday, Monday, and Tuesday, the majority of the balance, according to this indicator, which measures the sales and bulls and bears basically, and it balances it out with this little line here, had a larger balance of sellers than buyers. I don't know if it's a one-for-one measurement. Strength. I don't really see anything. No divergences or correlations. All right, Russell. Now let me zoom out first, see if there's any major trend lines to draw. This kind of looks like one here. No. No, I only see like a short term. No, I don't see. Too arbitrary. I don't trust them. You could say we're building a bit of a bull flag, but that's kind of moot since we broke below Thursday's low. Well, we're not quite breaking below it. Anyway, if we head higher, I'd be looking out for today, last month's close, which would be yesterday's close. we head lower, there's the pivot point at 24.36. Although I don't know if the overnight really paid much attention. Yeah, the overnight respected it a little bit. Didn't have the strength to go lower than yesterday's low. That'll be an important area if we get down to there. All right, let's take a look at the Dow. The Dow closed at record highs yesterday. I would mark, and it was the end of the month, so this area, 46,689, that's going to be important for probably this entire month, for a long time, as long as we remain near it. Look for bounces off of that, for sure. Also, yesterday's low. People will be paying attention to that, as it's also near a pivot point at 46,362. And we weren't able to get below there with much strength in the overnight. I kind of just see us bouncing back and forth. We might hit one of these, but staying in this range here. Oops, I didn't show you. Anyway, again on the daily, here's yesterday's close. Very important. So I can see us bouncing probably not hitting both. I don't know though. Volatility is down, isn't it? Yeah. Great day to trade, but I just don't have time today. I'm going to trade tonight, of course, but all right, gold. Again yesterday making what I presume to be all-time new highs. Let's look for larger patterns in gold. Since that triangle breakout, which you can see it here. I'm not going to draw it again. I draw it a few times. But it broke out the beginning of September. It's been ripping since. Starting to get some, you call these dojis. We had one here on Thursday, which was a turnaround point. Maybe I wouldn't call yesterday a doji. I don't really follow them much. I might not even be right at what a doji is. Pretty sure it's a very thin candle with wicks on either end. Yes, it is. I don't pay much attention to them in the futures. And I don't think it matters anymore because we're above it now anyway. Gold is right now hung up on yesterday's high. If we head higher, who knows, probably will. I'd look out for the overnight high, which is also close to last month's R4 pivot point. If we head lower, definitely look at yesterday's close. That'll be important. And yesterday's low, if we keep heading lower. Oil. I tried several times to trade this return to 62. Price always seems to want to return to 62. But my timing was just off. I think I tried this trade last Wednesday and then gave up after that. I need to remember with oil, you have to be very careful and you have to look for more confirmation. And pass-throughs are much more important, meaning we pass through this level right here, and then coming back through it would have been a sign that we were going to head down much lower. Same thing that happened on the 2nd. Came back and passed through. I just got to learn it more. For today, I would say got for yesterday's close. If we head back higher, if we head lower, it'd be yesterday's low, which also coincides with last Monday's low. But that's it. That's all I got. Anyway, good luck trading. I will not be streaming tomorrow. I have to work early. But I will be back on Friday. Anyway, good luck. Goodbye.